PM Modi lays foundation stone of environment-friendly Ahmedabad Metro Rail Project Phase 2 and Surat Metro Rail Project. Election Commission of India team led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora arrives in Guwahati to review Assam poll preparedness. Vice President Naidu suggests corporates to consciously encourage whistle-blowing mechanism. Electronic pension payment order promises ease of living for senior citizens, said Jitendra Singh, Minister of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. And in Brisbane Test, Australia bundled out for 294 on day 4. A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Notice News Bulletin from the studios of DDK Guwahati. This is Manjari. Now the stories in details. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has laid the foundation stone of Ahmedabad Metro Rail Project Phase 2 and Surat Metro Rail Project this morning through video conferencing. Speaking on this occasion, Prime Minister Modi said that two economic urban centers of the country, Surat and Ahmedabad, have got the gift of more than 17,000 crore rupees soon after the Uttarayan. He said that projects like railway connectivity with Kevadia and metro projects of Surat and Ahmedabad will boost the economic development in the region. He said that implementation of this project shows that the infrastructure development in the country has not stopped despite the corona pandemic. He said that the biggest feature of this metro rail project is that it's been implemented with the future requirements of the people. A high-level delegation of the Election Commission of India led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora has arrived in Guwahati today on a 3-day visit to review poll preparedness for the upcoming elections to the Assam Legislative Assembly. During the visit, the Chief Election Commissioner and his team will hold separate meeting with State Chief Secretary, Home Secretary, DGP, Chief Electoral Officer and Police Nodal Officers of Assam and leaders of political parties. The EC team will depart from Guwahati on January 20. The term of Sonowal government will end in mid-May next. Health Ministry said a total of 553 sessions of COVID-19 vaccination was conducted in 6 states, in which 17,072 beneficiaries were vaccinated on the second day of the launch of the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination drive. Addressing the media in New Delhi, Additional Health Secretary Dr. Manohar Agnani said, with this taking all the 2 days, a total of 2,24,301 beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far, out of which 2,07,229 beneficiaries were vaccinated on Saturday, which is the highest day 1 vaccination number in the world, and it is higher than UK, US and France, he added. Dr. Agnani also informed that in these 2 days, a total of 447 adverse events following immunization have been reported, out of which only 3 required hospitalization. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today suggested all corporates to consciously encourage whistleblowing mechanism and provide adequate safeguards for the protection of whistleblowers. Delivering the convocation address at the Institution of Company Secretaries of India, the Vice President stressed that it was important to ensure transparency and accountability in all matters of corporate governance to enhance the confidence of all the stakeholders, including the shareholders. Stressing the need to protect public money, Naidu said that system has to be foolproof to reduce the scope for any irregularity. Highlighting that the actions of a few have brought bad name to Indian business, the Vice President urged the young company secretaries to ensure ethics and accountability in corporate governance through their guidance and hand-holding. Expressing the hope that economy would rebound in the coming months, he urged India Inc. to take the lead in making it robust. Minister of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that the recently introduced electronic pension payment order promises ease of living for senior citizens. Referring to some path-breaking reforms introduced in the ministry, Dr. Singh said that the Department of Pensions was often at the receiving end of complaints from senior citizens about the original copies of their pension payment order getting misplaced. He said in such situations, the pensioners, particularly the older pensioners, had to face several hardships. He congratulated the officials in the Department of Pensions who had successfully introduced the provision of electronic pension payment order during the COVID pandemic, which came as a boon to several of the retiring officials. He said significantly the entire process was accomplished much before the targeted timeline in view of the difficulties being faced by the pensioners due to the pandemic. Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari said that the target of constructing 40-kilometer roads per day will be achieved by the end of March of this year. He informed that the government has already achieved the target of constructing 30 kilometers road per day. Addressing the media in New Delhi on the inauguration of National Road Safety Month, Gadkari said, every day 415 people die in the country due to road accidents. He said the government is committed to reduce the road accidents in the country by improving the road engineering and compliance measures. He added that 14,000 crore rupees will be spent on identifying and repairing the black spots on the roads. He urged the stakeholders to cooperate in improving the road safety mechanism, saying that compromise cannot be made with the life of the people. Now we take a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
डिजिटल बैंकिंग का है जमाना, टाइम है बचाना। डिजिटल बैंकिंग है आसान, करो चाहे कोई भुगतान, एनी टाइम एनीवेयर, सेफ है, फास्ट है, हर पेमेंट उंगलियों पे सेट है। लेन देन के हैं ऑप्शंस कई, IMPS, NEFT, UPI भी। 24 घंटे करते ये काम, पेमेंट आसान और रहे आराम। RBI कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Welcome back. In cricket, India were 4 for loss of no wicket at stumps on day 4 against Australia in their second innings in the fourth and final test at Brisbane. Earlier, Australia were all out for 294, setting a winning target of 328 to India. Steven Smith top scored for Australia with 55 runs, while Mohammad Siraj took 5 wickets for India. The 4-match series is currently tied at 1-1, with Australia winning the first match in Adelaide, while India registering a win in the second in Melbourne. The third test in Sydney has ended in a draw. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal on Monday laid the foundation stone of the state's first science city at Sonapur in Guwahati outskirts. While praising the state's contribution in science, technology and education, Sonowal said the state is bestowed with the honor of getting a science city because of quality education being provided in the state. Sonowal said that the 21st century is the century of science and technology. He asserted that government will leave no stone unturned to develop human resources of the state. The site of the Guwahati Science City was designed by the National Council of Science Museum, which is under Ministry of Culture. Estimated cost of the project is Rs 188 crore. The centre will spend 90% of total cost of the project, while Assam government will bear the remaining 10% cost of the project. Mizoram Governor P.S. Sridharan Pillai has issued an order today in the exercise of the powers conferred by Clause 1 of Article 174 of the Indian Constitution of India. He summoned the 8th Mizoram Legislative Assembly to meet for its 7th session of February 23, 2021 onwards at 10:30 a.m. in Mizoram Legislative Assembly House, Aizawl. Regarding the session calendar, as per the convenience of Assembly Speaker Lalrinliana Sailo, along with Business Advisory Committee, will prepare for it. Meghalaya's first ever incubation hub for state entrepreneurs in Shillong, Prime Hub, is in the final stages of completion. Interested entrepreneurs from the state can apply to make use of the co-working space located at JN Stadium, Shillong. They can reach the administrators via mail or drop a text on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Entrepreneurs can send details about their business space requirements, contact details, and location. It may be mentioned that the Prime Hub Shillong was launched in January last at the Meghalaya Entrepreneurship and Startup Summit 2020 as part of Meghalaya government's effort to encourage local entrepreneurs to start their own business by providing them proper mentoring and hand-holding support. The national COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 96.59% with over 1,211,000 cumulative recoveries so far. The rate of new daily infection has further slipped even below 15,000, with only 13,788 cases being reported in the past 24 hours. During the same period, over 14,400 people have recovered from the viral contagion. The country has 50 times more recovered cases than current active cases. The active case load in the country is just 1.97% of total cases. Out of the nearly 2 lakh cases, 60% are under home isolation and have mild to very mild symptoms. The number of countrywide fatalities recorded in 24 hours has slipped below the 150 mark, with 145 deaths been reported since yesterday. In the COVID update from the region, Arunachal Pradesh has 58 active cases with a total 16,697 recoveries. The death toll remains at 56. Manipur now has 343 active cases with a total 28,147 recoveries. The death toll is 366. In Meghalaya, the active cases now stands at 148 with a total 13,412 recoveries. The tally for the dead remains at 144. Mizoram has recorded 79 active cases with 4,235 recoveries. The death toll is 9. In Nagaland, active cases are now 116, followed by 11,854 discharged cases. The number of deaths is 88. Sikkim now has 161 active cases with 5,747 recoveries. The number of the dead is 130. Lastly, Tripura shows 39 active cases with 32,902 discharged cases, while the death toll remains at 391. That brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.